From the San Antonio Express News, I'm Joy Marie Scott, and this is your Express Briefing. Fast-tracked eyed for San Antonio sales tax election to fund pre-K for SA. City officials are discussing a faster timetable for the election to renew pre-K for SA, the city's early childhood education program, expecting it more likely to pass if voters get it in May rather than November. Folks who go to the polls in May are usually lower in turnout but more educated on local issues, said Christian Archer, who was a campaign strategist for pre-K for SA in 2012. They'll be more likely to approve the program than the higher number of November voters distracted by other issues, he said. The sales tax funding has allowed pre-K for SA to spend about $11,500 per pupil per year, nearly 3 times the amount the state allocates for pre-K students taught by school districts. And columnist Gilbert Garcia writes, hotel workers make strides in new deal with downtown Hyatts. Last week, the Grand Hyatt San Antonio and the Hyatt Regency San Antonio Riverwalk ratified a new 5-year deal with its 500 hourly workers. Under the new contract, hotel housekeepers and other workers will reach a guaranteed base wage of $17 an hour by the end of the contract period. A representative for the workers' union said the raise will make San Antonio employees the highest paid housekeepers ever in Texas. San Antonio hoteliers have been struggling to fill jobs for housekeepers, dishwashers, and waiters. With demand for local hotel workers higher than supply, hotels have responded by bumping up pay. Money for San Antonio aquifer protection would likely be cut under SAW's purview. A city program that protects the Edwards Aquifer would get a fraction of its funding if San Antonio Water System took over the responsibility, figures released Tuesday show. Since 2000, the city-managed Edwards Aquifer Protection Program has been funded with a voter-approved 1/8 cent sales tax, which generates about $40 million a year. The money is split between aquifer protection and linear parks. But Mayor Ron Nirenberg and Bexar County Judge Nelson Wolff want to shift the 1/8 cent sales tax to Via Metropolitan Transit to provide more frequent bus service. San Antonio voters will decide whether to redirect the tax in November. In San Antonio, the Democratic Party is still putting out factional fires. Without identifying anyone by name, Party Chairwoman Monica Alcantara said loyalists of former Bexar County Democratic Party Chairman Manuel Medina have tried to subvert the party's routine operations. Alcantara defeated Medina by more than a 2-1 margin in the March 2018 primary election. The county's Democratic Party has suffered from occasional feuds since Alcantara took over nearly 2 years ago. It held 2 separate party meetings last June, one led by Alcantara and another involving ousted officials whose lawsuit against her already had been dismissed by a state district judge. San Antonio homeless encampment returns 2 months after it was cleaned up. It has been nearly 2 months since city employees cleaned up the encampment on San Pedro Avenue, filling dump trucks to the brim with trash, bulldozing away items left behind, and telling the people living there that they could not stay. Workers will soon return to perform another cleanup because the homeless have returned to reclaim what they see as their home. And a new brewery and coffee shop, Tab Brewing, opens on San Antonio's northwest side. The idea is to start the morning hours with a selection from the coffee program, but if patrons choose to have a beer for breakfast, they can do that too, at San Antonio's newest brewery, Tab Brewing. Consider a subscription to the Express News, the voice of South Texas since 1865. Just 95 cents for the first month, a digital subscription helps support our work covering San Antonio and South Texas. You'll get access to all our stories on expressnews.com. Join the effort at expressnews.com/subscribe. And another news to know today. Northeast Independent School District has taken steps to eliminate most class rankings for high school students in a move to reduce competition and stress on students. San Antonio-based Cyber Warrior Network created a game to test and train cyber warriors for real-world missions. It gives veterans the chance to prove themselves and continue to defend the county in civilian jobs, writes columnist Chris Tomlinson. U.S. Representative Joaquin Castro joined his brother Julian in endorsing Elizabeth Warren in the Democratic presidential primary. President Donald Trump deserves a fair trial, but Republicans are threatening not to give him one, writes UTSA Associate Professor Stephen Amberg. The companies behind a far northwest side community of 250 single-family rental homes are fighting each other in court over a nearby development. Methodist Hospital Metropolitan near downtown is in the midst of a multi-year makeover that so far has cost $65 million. The $2 million next phase starts next month. Iran said that arrests have been made in connection with the downing of a Ukrainian airliner by mistake, killing all 176 people on board. The NSA discovered a major flaw in Microsoft's Windows operating system, one that could expose computer users to significant breaches, surveillance, or disruption, and alerted the company about the problem. Lonnie Walker IV could have spent the Spurs' off day in Miami enjoying some of the many outdoor pleasures he found while in college. He chose to spend it with his mother instead. And Black Rifle Coffee Company, which was founded in Salt Lake City in 2014, has chosen Bernie as its first Texas brick-and-mortar location. And in this week's episode of the Spurs Insider Podcast, Express News writers Mike Finger, Jeff McDonald, and Nick Talbot discuss how LaMarcus Aldridge changing his game could have saved the Spurs season. To get San Antonio's top news headlines, ask your assistant to play the Express Briefing podcast. For the San Antonio Express News, I'm Joy Marie Scott.